Please like and subscribe. Chapter 6, Making the First Move. Make sure to check out my Patreon where you can read up to 16 chapters ahead of the current releases. Approaching my shop, people started greeting me as usual even though I was an Uchiha and they have a bad opinion about us. This is the difference between a successful person and a normal one, or in this case a simple civilian. No matter how negatively people used to see you, whether their views are deserved or not, everything will change when you become successful, because now your relationship with them can bring them benefits, and for their benefits, people can do anything. I thought while looking calmly at the people around me greeting me with happy faces, the same people that started to insult the young kid in front of my shop and telling their kids not to go near him. I simply ignored them and led the kid into my shop and gave him some sweets to satisfy his curiosity before asking him to visit again tomorrow. Throughout my interaction with the kid, the ugly people around me didn't say anything other than sending him disgusting glances as if looking at a cockroach. Until he left, they started talking. Person 1-inch Bakorio, and you shouldn't bring this monster to your shop, he might cause you trouble. Person 2-inch, yeah, that monster only knows how to cause trouble. Person 3-inch, that sinful beast doesn't deserve to live. Why is Hokage-sama not getting rid of him? TCH. I coldly looked at them and said, I have my own ways of dealing with those that cause trouble in my shop. You people don't need to worry about it, before directly entering a side room in my shop, and didn't wait for these useless people to respond to me, and I could hear them whisper behind my back something like how rude, etc. What happened today made me wonder if this rotten village is bad because of those ruling it, or because of the people living in it, or both. To act like this toward an orphan whose parents died protecting them, not to mention him being innocent? Yet they without hesitation push all the blame into a kid without feeling any remorse, all that because he has the 9 tails sealed in him. What disgusting people. They deserve the incident of 9 tails going berserk, I thought. People easily judge others, yet they fear judging themselves the same way, because in the truth of the matter even the monster inside of him was made into one by the hands of this village and their great founder Hashirama Senju. After all, what sentient being would not go crazy after being sealed for decades and treated like a tool, either thrown into a war to fight for them or stay sealed in a prison all alone you can't even move in? Yet they will never admit this, because it's easier to consider themselves the victims. I quickly broke away from my thoughts and opened my inventory to check what I earned over the past few days from completing quests. Asterisk 530 points, Attributes Multiplier x1, Rare Double-Edged Short Sword level 15 x2, Basic Strength Ring level 6 x1, Lethal Kunai x10, 10 Chakra Regeneration Pills, Basic Heartless Necklace. The best thing I got is the Attributes Multiplier after I reached level 50 in my close combat fighting skill, and the swords too are truly great I got from reaching level 25, which made me excited about starting to learn swordsmanship soon, but I won't use them yet because I can't explain where I got such high quality short swords. The Basic Strength Ring I got from level 10 in close combat. It adds 15 points to my strength, which I wear all the time other than when I am training my body. The lethal kunais, I got them from my throwing art reaching level 25. They are coated in an extremely lethal poison, hence the name, that could kill anyone with a body below Jonin level, excluding those with high vitality or poison resistance. The pills are self-explanatory. I got them from my chakra manipulation reaching level 10, and the necklace I got from my meditation reaching level 10. It affects the wearer's genjutsu power and resistance, power by 10% and resistance by 5%. The Attribute Multiplier, the best out of all these, multiply all my attributes by 2, and I am not planning to use it until I reach my absolute limits from training where the situation really calls for a quick power-up. 530 points. I quickly entered the shop to check the prices of the jutsus. I didn't check the things from other worlds because I noticed that they are far more expensive than the things existing in Naruto world. The prices for the different jutsus are 100 to 300 points for rank E jutsu, 600 minus 1,700 points for rank D jutsu, 2,000 to 6,000 points for rank C jutsu, 8,000 to 20,000 points for rank B jutsu, 30,000 to 80,000 points for rank A jutsu, 100,000 to 400,000 points for rank S jutsu, plus 500,000 points for forbidden rank jutsu. After thinking for a while, I decided to start using my save and load ability to buy jutsu and rewind time to gain my points back, but I will have to train them quickly, otherwise I might forget them, so I can't buy flashy skills, but simple ones will do, and so I quickly did a save for this moment and bought the 2E rank clone and transformation jutsus, costing me almost all my points. Looking at the two skill books in my hand, I quickly learned them and started using them continuously until I got used to using them without the help of the system. Done with learning the two probably only usefully ranked jutsus, I left my shop and noticed that it's still early in the afternoon, and knowing that I will be using a save point, I thought it was time to test something. Thus I quickly checked my map for the location of a certain house, the house of the famous monster of Konoha that visited my shop not long ago, and started walking towards it. Hopefully this works out from the first try, I thought while walking with an excited smile on my face, for I know I could do anything right now and still get no trouble by a simple touch on a load button. My walk wasn't easy because I felt really tempted to do whatever twisted desires I have in my heart, but I held them in by reminding myself that I have a purpose to achieve, and so I cleared my mind and calmed my heart to focus on everything around me. At first, I could feel that everything was normal, but as I got in front of Naruto's house I could feel that I was being watched by someone, but I couldn't detect from where. But I didn't care and stood in front of the door for a while sorting out my thoughts before I knocked on it. Tap. 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 I started hearing someone coming down the stairs, and before long Naruto opened the door and I can see his eyes widen from surprise or delight, who knows. I smiled at him and said, "Can I come in? I brought a cake with me." Naruto quickly nodded his head and said, "Of course, please come inside." He looked at me with a wide grin, and I can see how happy he was to be visited by someone, not to mention with a cake. Time for the experiment to start, I thought as the door of this old apartment closed behind me. Chapter 7, Explanation and Meeting. Naruto led me to the kitchen and we sat around the table together and started enjoying the cake I brought with me together. This kid is really innocent and pitiful, I thought, because he didn't even question if I have bad intentions by visiting right now. "Do you like it?" I said. Naruto raised his head from the cake and with the same happy smile as earlier, now having his white teeth stained with chocolate, said, "Yes, it's very delicious." "I am glad to hear it, but, Naruto, I am not just here to bring you the cake," I said with a serious face while glancing at my map to check if there are any Umbu nearby, and I found that they are just watching from a distance, which is good for what I want to do. "How do you know my name?" Naruto asked nervously. I looked at the nervous kid in front of me and thought finally a normal reaction before I said with a simile. "I know everything about you, including who your parents are and why people hate you. Do you want to know the reason why?" The nervousness quickly disappeared from Naruto's face and was replaced by intense desire and hope, and he hurriedly said, "Please tell me who my parents are, please." I looked at him with a serious face and said, "Once you know the truth, your life will forever change and you might even become an enemy of the village, so are you sure you want to know the truth?" He didn't even take a second to decide or hesitate and responded by yes. "Please tell me." "Listen carefully then and know that you can't share this information with anyone or you will be in danger. Anyways, let's start first with why you are called a monster. The reason for that is because the nine-tailed fox that went berserk in the village 5 years ago is now sealed on you, and the previous person that had the 9 tails sealed in them is your mother Kushina Uzumaki. When she was going to give birth to you 5 years ago, a masked man attacked the birth site and your father had to choose between saving you or your mother, your father, the 4th Hokage, Minato Namikaze." I can see his expression changing from sadness, pain, and shock, and wanted to interrupt me and ask me some questions, but I quickly cut him off and said, "Hold your questions until I finish. While your father was taking you to a safe place, the masked man didn't waste any time and unsealed the 9 tails from your mother and started controlling him to attack her, but your father saved her just in time while the masked man teleported inside the village and summoned the 9 tails, which started the incident the people hate you for." I continue explaining how his parents died while trying to seal the 9 tails and how they entrusted him to the 3rd Hokage, but as he can see, he easily broke his promise, and that Danzo, one of the elders of the village, is the one that spread bad rumors about you, and the 3rd Hokage did nothing about it. After I was done with my explanation, tears fell from his eyes and I can see his worldview collapsing, and he felt something change inside of him. He didn't desire acceptance from this village anymore. I simply hugged him while saying, "It's okay, you are not alone." And these words made his heart that almost sank in darkness resurface again, but what was tainted will not change back. "What should I do now?" he said with a sad face, while leaving my hug reluctantly. "I can help you meet your parents again," I said out of nowhere, making him look at me with a doubtful but excited face. Really? Can you really help me meet them?" "Yes, I can," I said with a warm smile, "but we will also meet the 9 tails, so you should stay closer to me and only listen to me no matter what, understood?" I said with a serious face. He nodded his head repeatedly. First let me see how the situation is and I will show you how to do it too when I am done. And he obediently accepted, and so I put my hand on his abdomen and started focusing my mind and chakra into it until I felt my vision suddenly change and I found myself in a dimly lit space with water under me and a huge metallic cell door in front of me. I felt danger hiding in the darkness behind that door, just waiting for an unsuspecting intruder to come closer to swallow. I came close to the door and I said with a grin, I didn't know the Ninetales likes to play hide and seek. Suddenly two blood-red orbs shone just in front of my face behind the door and a terrifying bloodlust started radiating from the darkness and a heavy deep voice said, "What are you doing here, kid? Stop trying to intimidate me. I didn't come here with bad intentions towards you, and you should be able to feel that, right?" I said. "Humph." The Ninetales snorted and said, "I saw you telling the kid about his origin. I can tell you want to manipulate him. I'd rather not trust you." Well, don't you know it's rude to listen to other people's conversation," I said, and I quickly received a fist smashing on the door as a response and the Ninetales started growling like a beast. Okay, I am just kidding, don't be angry. Actually I pity you and I came here to offer you a deal. I wonder if you are interested?" I calmly said. Suddenly he stopped his growling and gave me a sinister smile and said, "Sure, as long as you unseal me I can grant you anything." And I couldn't help but laugh ha while thinking, can he really not see that sinister smile on his face? Only an idiot would believe his words, and I only laughed harder when he started growling at me again and smashed the door saying I will kill you and whatnot. Okay, stop. I am not here to antagonize you but to befriend you, but I just couldn't hold my laugh back with you trying to make me trust you with that sinister smile on your face, I said. Probably due to the long time since he interacted with anyone he really didn't notice that his intentions were written all over his face, which made him a little embarrassed, but he didn't show it and just kept glaring at me. How cute, I thought, and I said, "Well, I was indeed going to offer to unseal you, but I can't do that when you are like this since I can't trust you, so we first need to build on this point if we want to have a deal." He looked at me silently, retrieved his bloodlust and said, this time hiding his intentions, "Come inside my cell and I will trust you." I looked at him deeply for a few seconds before saying, "Today your body is sealed and you can't free yourself, but you have complete control over your heart and it's your choice to unseal it or keep it locked forever with no one attempting to trust you again." And with that said, without hesitation, I stepped foot in that sealed darkness. Chapter 8, Establishing Trust. Entering the prison cell where someone like the Ninetales can kill you anytime might seem risky, but to me, it's not, because the moment I decided to use this kind of approach, most of my attention was on using the loading function of the system, and the rest of it was used to analyze everything around me, especially the behavior of the Ninetale, to see through his intentions, and currently, as much as he's putting a sinister facade in front of me, inside I can sense he's hesitating. As I walked inside I can see his eyes shone for a second before a huge hand caught my body and raised it in the air, and now I can see its huge body having red-orange colored fur with black fur around its red eyes that stretch up to its ears, and 9 long curved tails. It also has an upper body structure of a human. The Ninetales gave me that sinister smile again and said, "I got you now, kid, how do you want to die?" I looked at him coldly, unaffected by him pretending to look evil and being thankful for the training I did in this past month or so, because if I was a normal civilian my body wouldn't hold for long under the pressure of this squeeze. After adjusting to the pressure I said, "If this is your choice, hurry up and kill me, don't waste my time." My response made his mouth twitch and growled at me, growling, "Kid, do you think I won't kill you?" "No, but don't forget what I am offering you, and I already showed you enough sincerity by coming here unprotected, so if all this doesn't work I can only blame my luck. If you want to kill me, go ahead," I responded. I can feel how conflicted his emotions are from the continuous flickering of his eyes, but soon enough the hand that was clutching me loosened a little bit, even though I was still held by him this time it's much more gentler, and was followed by him saying, "Kid, even if you have courage that doesn't mean you can help, you are weak." Well, of course, genius, I barely been here for a month, what do you expect, not to mention being a 5 years old, I thought with annoyance, while outside my face didn't change at all, and I said, "Yes, but I have a plan, but for it to work I first need you to cooperate with me, and we need trust for that." "Oh, tell me then, what kind of great plan, a kid still wet behind the ears like you can come up with," the Ninetales said mockingly with its deep voice. "I won't tell you anything before you show some trust in me," I said, and the Ninetales increased his squeeze again while saying, "Tell me or I will kill you," while glaring at me. "No," I said while returning the glare. Seeing that I wasn't taking a step back, the Ninetales reluctantly let go of me and said, "Here, I let you go, now tell me." I couldn't help but look at him amusingly and said I didn't know the famous Nine Tails would try to trick a 5-year-old like, seriously, what's the difference between you holding me and me still in this cell? Obviously you can catch me again anytime you want. The Nine Tails looked embarrassed for an instant because I saw through him but tried to hide it quickly before saying, "TCH, what do you want to do then?" I looked at him and said a simple, "Allow me to leave the cell and I will start trusting you." He looked at me with flickering eyes before he lay down. I noticed a trace of sadness in his eyes while he said, "Okay, you can leave." I didn't say anything and turned around and started walking back to the door while I thought about this encounter that made my heart almost stop many times, but I hid it as much as possible even though I knew he can sense my emotions. Still, my pride didn't allow me to show it, and even now the fear of not knowing if you were going to get stabbed in the back or not is making me sick, but I held it in. While deep in thought, I quickly found myself in front of the same metallic door and passed it without anything happening, which made me heave a sigh of relief before I turned around and looked at the lonely orange figure laying down while silently looking at me with unreadable eyes. I quickly calmed my heart and walked back in, which made the Nine Tails show a surprised but also delighted face, and I quickly arrived in front of him, sat down, and looked deeply at his giant blood-red eyes with vertical slits inside and said, "Now we have some basic trust. Let's introduce ourselves. I will start. My name is Bakorio Uchiha and my dream is to fill the void in my heart." The Nine Tails looked surprised at my dream but decided to ask about it another time. "My name is Kurama and my dream is to be free and get revenge on those that imprisoned me," Kurama said with both hope and hate. "Kurama, you have a nice name," I said with a smile, and I can see the delight he was trying to hide when I complimented him. "Of course my name is the best," he said arrogantly before that arrogance turned to doubt, and he said, "So how are you going to free me? You should know that if you just release me from the kid, he will die and I will just be sealed again by someone in this village or other villages." I responded, "Yes, I know. And what you don't know is that even unsealing you won't be that easy, because when the fourth sealed you, he sealed both his and his wife's chakra here just in case to help their child with suppressing you in case of accidents." He looked surprised and angry at the thought the people that sealed him are close around here, but I quickly calmed him down and said, "I know how you are feeling, but I have a plan for them to solve the issue of you getting sealed." When he heard me, he calmed down and told me to keep explaining. "The problem you and the other tailed beast have is that you are made of chakra, which makes sealing techniques extra effective against you, so I am planning to convince Minato and his wife Kushina to help us create something like an anti-seal so that it will be harder to seal you in the future, and they are two of the most skilled sealing masters I know of, so the probability of making such a seal is quite high. What do you think?" I said. Kurama looked surprised and delighted at my idea because if it's possible, he will truly become free with no one capable of sealing him, but having some doubts he said, "But how are you going to convince them?" "Just leave that to me," I said with a confident smile. Chapter 9, Minato and the Reaper. My talk with Kurama didn't take long, so when I left the seal space, Naruto was still having the same enthusiasm about meeting his parents, so I started explaining to him what to do to enter that space, but no matter how I try to guide him, that kid simply can't focus properly and clear his mind, so I found myself troubled on what to do to make him more focused. It seems this is why he can't learn the clone jutsu. This kid can't even focus on doing one thing, not to mention multitasking, I thought. Many people wonder why someone like Naruto, who can't even learn a rank E jutsu, can learn something like the Shadow Clone Jutsu instantly, which is considered rank A and a forbidden one at that. The reason for this is simple. The Shadow Clone Jutsu is rank A because of its characteristic of creating something similar to a real body, different from normal clones that are the same as empty shells, and to do that it splits the user chakra between the clones, so the higher the number of clones, the lower the chakra left in the main body, and this causes people with normal chakra to feel extreme exhaustion from the chakra loss. That's why only Naruto can use it effectively, and that's because his great chakra reserves as a Jinchuriki. As for the next reason why Naruto can use it is because he doesn't need to manually control any of them, since they inherit all his memories and experience, so no multitasking or focus is needed. I started thinking hard about how to make an idiot focus before I got a great idea. Naruto nodded in confusion. "Yes?" "Because I changed from explaining how to clear the mind to cake." "Well then let's try this." I made him lay on his back and put a simple bowl I got from the kitchen on his abdomen. "If this doesn't work, I don't care anymore," I thought in annoyance. "Now don't move and imagine you have a cake above your abdomen and try to see it by focusing your entire mind on it," and somehow this crazy method worked, and I followed after him inside the seal space. I saw Naruto looking curiously at the huge door and Kurama sitting behind it while ignoring Naruto's look, and after he noticed that I appeared inside, he turned to me and asked with a hopeful look, "Where are my parents?" "You are going to meet them soon," I said while walking toward the large gate, more specifically toward a seal paper in the middle of the door, holding it like a lock. Kurama looked intrigued at what I am doing, watching every action of mine carefully, and was shocked when he saw me jumping towards the paper. As I grabbed the paper and started peeling it, suddenly a hand grabbed the collar of my shirt and threw me away, and a voice soon followed, "Who are you and why are you trying to unseal the 9 tails?" It was a handsome man with blue eyes and spiky blonde hair. He has jaw-length bangs framing either side of his face. He was wearing a standard Konoha uniform with 2 bands on both of his sleeves, a green flak jacket, blue forehead protector, and blue sandals. Above them he wore a short-sleeved long white haori decorated by red flame-like motifs on the edges, with the kanji for 4th Hokage written vertically down the back. Time to continue this experiment, I thought before standing up, and said, "Nice to meet you, Minato Namikaze. I am Bakorio Uchiha. Don't worry, I just wanted to have a talk with you and fulfill my promise to Naruto to make him meet his parents." Minato looked at Naruto and just didn't expect to meet him in this kind of situation. He thought he would meet him much older, trying to unseal the kyubi to face someone stronger than him, but he quickly adjusted to his thoughts when he heard Naruto saying with teary eyes, "Father? Naruto." He was about to rush to him and hug his son, but I stepped in his way, which caused him to give me an angry look and said, "What are you doing?" I can see Naruto looking at me with a confused look, and I looked straight into his eyes and said to him, "Do you trust me?" Naruto hesitated for a moment but nodded in the end, "I trust you." So I smiled at him and turned back to Minato. "You don't have much time since you only sealed a small part of your chakra inside Naruto, but I can help you to extend your time here, but it's not going to be for free." Minato looked surprised, but he quickly warmed up to me when he saw that I was close to Naruto and decided to hear what I have to say. "Sure, what do you want?" I said with a flat tone, "I want both you and your wife to work for me from now on, and believe me, you would want to live again after you hear the situation in the village and especially how Naruto was being treated so quickly. Decide. It's great to not give people time to think things through," I thought with a smile. He looked at me with a serious look, then turned back to Naruto and asked him, "Naruto, how's your life in the village?" I nodded at Naruto and he replied with a sad face, "Terrible, I live alone and everyone bullies me." I felt the air turned extremely cold around Minato for an instant before turned back to normal again. "Well, what a scary guy," I thought, and Minato said, "Didn't Lord Third and Jiraiya-sensei take care of you?" Naruto simply shook his head. "I don't know who Jiraiya-sensei is, but Lord visits me sometimes after people started calling me a monster." This time the chill emitted from him for a longer time before it dissipated, and he looked at me and said, "I accept to work for you, but I won't harm innocent people. This is my bottom line and I need you to take care of Naruto." I shrugged at him. "I am not that evil to harm someone innocent. I just hope our meaning of innocence is the same." Before I walked to him and took something out of my storage, a pill. I really wonder if this would work, I thought as I arrived in front of him and told him to swallow the chakra regenerating pill. "What the hell is this pill?" Minato was startled as he could feel his almost depleted chakra started regenerating quickly. Low Genin level, medium Genin level, high Genin level, low Chunin level. Jonin level, and suddenly something seemed wrong as his expression changed and he could feel an attraction force was building around him. That's what I was waiting for, I thought, because the rest of Minato's chakra and soul are inside the Death Reaper since he used the Death Reaper seal. So how is the effect of the pill from the system going to be? Will it stop because of the involvement of something else, or will it make him recover regardless? I couldn't wait to see the result. Unbeknownst to anyone, inside the Uzumaki temple in the outskirts of the Hidden Leaf village, in a wall filled with masks, a certain mask started vibrating intensely, and from it came a ghostly figure. It turned its head in the direction of Konoha. Specifically, it looked in the direction of a house containing only 2 kids, and it started emitting a terrible atmosphere and laughing an evil, sinister laugh that could cause the dead to tremble in their graves. This was the Death Reaper. Chapter 10, System Items. Back inside the seal space, the attraction force around Minato kept increasing, and no one there knew what it was attracting, whether it was fortune or misfortune, except the person who caused this incident. He watched with intrigue how the events are going to turn out. Suddenly everyone started feeling danger, even the clueless Naruto, and the atmosphere started feeling heavy and eerie, and behind Minato, a specter much larger than an average human with a demonic face appeared. It had long shaggy white hair from which 2 red horns protrude, as well as purple-colored skin. It is draped in a large white kimono, and wears a set of prayer beads around its neck and a tanto in its mouth. Looking at it, everyone was terrified. Even Kurama stood up because he still remembers clearly how this figure sealed his other half away in Minato. The Reaper looked at me for a moment and I can see it seemed surprised at my existence for some reason, but it ignored me for now since it has a target, the one attracting it. Minato was shocked because he didn't summon it and his body froze, making him realize that nothing can save him from being completely sealed inside the Death Reaper, and he can see it in slow motion thanks to his monstrous reaction speed as the Reaper removed the Tanto from its mouth, revealing sharp, jagged teeth and a serpentine tongue. It lifted the Tanto in the air and slashed it straight at Minato. Time felt like it stopped the instant the Tanto was about to slash him, and suddenly 7 thin white chains came out of his abdomen, completely incapacitating the Death Reaper, before 2 thick black ones come out from the same place, making it show a scared face. One entered straight into the Death Reaper's abdomen, retrieving Minato's soul, while the other went inside its head, its purpose unknown, but after this, the Reaper stayed no longer and faded away while the attraction force around Minato helped him absorb his soul, and he recovered completely to his previous level and some more, now only lacking a body. So this is how the system items work. They achieve their purpose no matter what, I thought, as in this case a simple chakra regenerating pill transformed into some crazy sealing techniques. Slowly everyone came back from their shock, and Minato and Kurama quickly looked at me and said at the same time, "What was that?" They didn't even notice they are acting the same way, I thought with amusement, and simply shrugged at them. Someone gave me that pill and said it could regenerate chakra. I didn't think it regenerates chakra no matter what. What a surprise, right? I said with a chuckle. But more importantly, go have a talk with Naruto first. Minato sent me one last doubtful look, but he was happy anyways and went to talk with Naruto, while I just went to Kurama and had some small talk with him until the father and son finished catching up. Before long Minato came back with Naruto in his arms. After he arrived in front of me, he put Naruto down and bowed deeply to me and said, "Thank you very much. If not for you I wouldn't be able to have this moment with Naruto." It was funny because even while bowing he was still taller than me, which made me annoyed at my small body, but I buried this feeling deep down and said with a serious face, "Raise your head, Minato, now you work for me, and those who follow me boast to no one." But unfortunately a 5 years old making a serious face is simply funny, and it showed as Minato gave me a sunny smile while saying yes instead of responding seriously, which made me annoyed and I wanted to smash his face in, but I held myself back. "Minato, explain to your wife if she wants to accept the same deal or not. If she agrees I can give her another pill." Minato was excited that I still have more of this miraculous pill and quickly communicated with Kushina's soul, and before long a fair-skinned and slender woman of feminine build with violet eyes, and the common Uzumaki red hair. Her hair was straight and reached her thighs with shoulder-length strands that framed both sides of her face and a black clip that parts her hair to the left. She was wearing a high-collared, sleeveless blouse under a long, loose-fitting dress with a wristband on her left wrist and standard shinobi sandals. This was the mother of Naruto and Minato's wife, Kushina Uzumaki. The moment she appeared she rushed to Naruto and hugged him tightly for a while with tears pouring out of her eyes. And I approached her telling her she needs to take this pill or else she will dissipate. Kushina looked at the kid around her son's age and the pill he's giving her curiously. "This is person Minato promised to work for. I hope he becomes good friends with Naruto," she thought before looking at her husband, who gestured at her to quickly eat the pill, and so she did without hesitation because of her trust on her husband. Plus she was going to dissipate anyways if she doesn't take it. Kushina experienced her chakra coming back again, which surprised her, and before long she was back to her full capacity without having to go through a similar incident to the one with the Death Reaper. Again I waited a bit for them to finish their family reunion before I explained to them my plan about creating an anti-seal for Kurama, and they agreed to it after they saw my relationship with him. We also discussed how to deal with their lack of bodies, but we came with no solution for it for now. Finally, I decided to leave, but not before I asked Minato to teach me the shadow clone jutsu, which he gladly did. After I left the seal space with Naruto, I noticed that it was almost dark, so I took Naruto outside for dinner with me before I sent him back home, and I went back to my house too and felt exhausted from everything that happened tonight and quickly fell asleep. Next morning after I had a nice breakfast I took Sasuke with me and went to pick up Naruto before we headed to the orphanage, because I need to make it seem as if I like helping orphans to lessen the suspicions around me getting close to Naruto. But, in the end, my identity as an orphan myself, and a 5 years old one at that, is the best reason to not be suspicious of me. In our way to the orphanage, we came across an incident that made me frown. 3 young kids that seemed poor and quite dirty were playing around chasing each other before one of them, a young girl, tripped on a stone and bumped into a man wearing the normal ninja clothing and fell down on her butt. "Sorry mister, I didn't see you," the girl timidly said. The man, which I could tell is an Uchiha from his dark hair and eyes, looked at the kids as if they were ants and kicked the girl away while saying arrogantly, "How dare you attack me and dirty the clothes of a member of the Uchiha police force? You should be taught a lesson." Uncaring about the disgusted faces everyone was giving him, the man walked towards the three kids ready to beat them up, but someone beside me quickly stepped in front of them and yelled at him, "What do you think you are doing?" An angry Sasuke said.